Hello, welcome back to my Innermost Musing. This is a space where I share my journey and my faith and how God showed up through it all. So, if you don't know the OGs, I was a master's student. Like I came abroad on a scholarship to do my master's, with the expectations that once I get abroad, I'm going to, get a job to be able to cater for myself and my child. But was the story the same? No. This series is actually tagged Stranded and how God provided for me. So in my last video, I explained where I've been, the truth behind me disappearing online, because I feel like there's sometimes that when things are going on for you that you can say you want to do some certain things. When things are not going, especially when you have a lot of things on your mind, there's some things that you don't want to. At that moment when I was looking for how to extend my stay, asked how to get an apartment, how to get registration, everything else, like that was the only problem I could see, and how to even get a job to cater for myself, because graduating means no more stipend, even though the stipend was so small. But then at least the stipend was coming in, and I know that okay, it's little money I'll collect from Nigeria. But when the stipend ended, all my mind was, how do I take care of myself and that of my child? How will I not allow this child to suffer? Because I began like blaming myself for embarking on the journey. Seriously, I do. For embarking on the journey, because I'm like, I'm not only the one suffering, my child too. Yes, I'm taking care of my child, but whether I like it or not, a happy mom means a happy child. It was affecting me, and whether I like it or not, the child will be looking at me there, because I cried. I've never cried like this in all my life before. I cried myself to sleep. Sometimes I just, when I think of how the situation is, I just cry, because there's no word to explain what I'm going through. There's no word to explain that I cannot get a job and stuff like that. So after moving from the shelter, we moved to the apartment where we had to be sharing the payment with the person that was there, and we started living there. And like I mentioned earlier on, I was cleaning. I would go to clean in the morning, and then I was also looking for other jobs. And so in October, this is October, I was like, okay, let me do something. Let me take a risk. What was the risk I took? I went to my two sisters here. And when I say sisters, it's not we're not related by blood. So you don't be thinking, you are your sister there and you're struggling. No, we're not related by blood, but we're related by the blood of Jesus. They are my sisters in Christ, and I got to know them through my situation, and they've been very helpful. They've been, more than friends. That's why I can call them sisters. So I went to meet them. I told them, this is what I'm thinking. I need to Ella is big enough to stay in the crèche, to go to crèche. You borrow me 10,000 from your hand, and you borrow me 10,000 from your hand. Let me put Ella in the crèche. And after putting Ella in the crèche, I will then go look for a job. But I will look for a job that Ella's crèche will be opening 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So I will look for a job within that range that I can easily come back and pick Ella up. And I will not tell any one that I'm looking for a job from them about my child. So they won't be like, no. So I did that. I collected money from them. I took Ella to crèche. I wish I didn't collect money to take Ella to crèche. Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. After putting Ella in crèche for the first week, before even I have gone for an interview before I put Ella in crèche, and then the woman asked me to resume on Monday. So that was the reason why I went and dropped Ella at the crèche on Monday, and I paid part payment for our kindergarten. So on getting to the place, it was a restaurant, and they put me through. I was cooking rice. I think I cooked like 6 rice that day, like with of course with a rice cooker. So I was already like, they were showing me around, I was doing all the work and then by 2 p.m. because the crèche told me to come and pick Ella 2 p.m. that day. So by 2 p.m. I told them I'll be leaving early today because it's my 4th day, and by 2 p.m. that I'll be leaving. And then that was when the woman asked me, okay, so now that you're leaving, why are you leaving 2 p.m.? You've graduated, where are you going to? I said, oh, I have an online class that I need to attend to. And then they were like, okay, so do you like the job? I said, yes, I like the job. So when do you want to be working? I said, Monday through Friday. So, oh, that's good, but that they cannot allow me to work Monday through Friday. What time to what time? Because you can select your time according to what I heard from the agent that directed me to the restaurant. So I was like, okay, I want to be working from 10 to 6 p.m. 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And the reason being that I told you earlier on in the previous video that I normally go clean in the morning, the office. So I would drop Ella off to the crèche, go clean, and then move to that restaurant. And then by 6, I must go back because it's like 1 hour journey to where we live, where I will have to go pick Ella. And Ella closes by 7 p.m. So I must get home, get to Ella's crèche by 7 p.m. to pick Ella up, then we go home. So that was how I planned to do it because I was not ready to leave that cleaning job when I've not gotten another job. I told them I want to be resuming 10 to 6 p.m. And then the woman was like, no, it cannot be possible that since I'm no longer a student, I need to work full time. That's 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. at night. And that the only day she can give me for off will be on Sunday. So I have to work Monday through Saturday. I'm like, God. So I could not tell her I have a child. So that was how I did. I stopped going for that job. Then I got another job in another place too. It was all these fast food product company where I would be washing plate for them. And then immediately I got there, the lady liked me. I was like, okay, when do you want to resume? I'm like, I can resume immediately. And then she said, okay, so when would you like to be working? I said Monday through Friday as well. And then she said, no, that I have to work Monday through Sunday because of the order they have and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, can I be working during the day? She said, no, that I have to be working night shifts. I was like, have a child, that's the issue. And I had to open up to her that I have a child and the crèche closes 7 p.m. So I have to leave this place by 6 p.m. So and then she said she's sorry, they'll get back to me if they can manage, but they don't think they can manage that. And that was how I lost that job too. Then for the teaching job, I also applied for the teaching job, and the day I was supposed to go teach, I messaged every one of my friends, everyone that I know that I could drop Ella with, and nobody was available. And so I had to reach out to the school that gave me the teaching job. Sorry, I could not make it. Can we make it during the week? Because it was on a Saturday when Ella would be in crèche. And they said no. The majority of their students normally comes in on Saturday, and since I was not able to meet up for the first day, they are no longer ready to work with me. And that was how I lost that English job as well. I tried. You know how they will say in my language that when they're talking about bed, that I was trying all I could to get the job and to make ends meet. So yeah, that was how I couldn't get that job again. So the money I borrowed from my friends became a debt on my neck, because as days was rolling in, October was ending, like it was moving, and there was no way to get even a job to pay the money I borrowed back. It was hard, and I began blaming myself that why did I even borrow the money to start with? But then, it was a risk. Okay, maybe if I put her and then I get a job, I'll be able to, cater for, pay that loan back, and also have another means of surviving. And that was it. So then it dawned on me that as October rolled into November, it dawned on me that, and our visa, like my home visa, we end December 27. And even in the apartment where we moved to, I need to, I think I forgot to mention that we were only given the grace to stay there till December 25. So we must leave the apartment where we are sharing the payment with that lady before December 25. So when it was already November, it dawned on me that there was no how I could get a job that could pay our flight ticket. And within the space of little days that is remaining for me to get a job to pay for a flight ticket to go. So it dawned on me that, whoa, you were stranded. I was stranded. That I am stranded. Like, how will I go home? So the permanent resident I applied for came out in November. So like, I think that gave us a grace that, okay, if I could not get a flight ticket by December, we can still stay in the country legally. But my child's passport also, I was able to get my child's passport in November. But then there was still no job to save up for a flight ticket. So I decided, okay, what do? I began to pray. I was praying rigorously about it. And the Lord told me it will come true. But then, sometimes when the Lord tells you something, you'll be wary at looking for ways it will come out. You even be thinking in your head that, okay, maybe you come through this way or it will come through this way. When it was getting towards, we were already approaching December. And like I mentioned earlier on, we could only stay in this apartment till December 25th. Claws into my hands. I started messaging. I went on Instagram, started following, those people that help people online. I messaged them. I wrote several emails to them to tell them our situation, that I'm a mother, I'm stranded, and I need to go. I've tried all I could to get a job, but I can't. And as it's where we have till December 25 to leave this apartment. And if we don't get that, myself and my child can actually be stranded. So I messaged everyone. I messaged everyone. I could message anyone I see that is helping people, from white to even my people from my country, Nigeria. I messaged them, but nobody replied my mail. Nobody replied my mail. So at a point, some will say, what about your family? It's because I know the family I'm coming from. They've been helpful. They've been the one sending money for me to, to cater for all our needs. I told you, despite the fact that I was doing those works, it was not enough to pay the house rent and also for the survival of myself and that of my child. So I still collect naira every week from Nigeria. So, and my dad had already retired, my mom too. So practically there was nobody to help me with the flight ticket. And as it was already approaching December, the flight ticket was going to 2.5 million because it was already increasing. It was on a high side. So there was no way I could raise 2.5 million before December 25. So that was why I was taking laws into my hands. Even after the Lord told me he would do it, I was trying to search online, okay, who will help me? Who can help me? But none replied. I reached out to some organizations here in this country and even in Belgium for you to know how. And the Belgium was like, okay, no, that sorry, they could not help somebody outside. I should try and reach out to people in my country. And I reached out to people in my country. They were like, no, they don't help foreigners and they only help their people. And I'm like, okay, no problem. So that was it. But then it got to a time, one day, I remember when I wanted to go and collect my, so I had collected my permanent residence, but I needed registration on it, and I told you I've been with that registration since I graduated. I've been looking for somebody to registration for me. None of the church members were able to help, and even the agency we were calling outrageous money that I cannot afford. So I was without registration, so I had to go pay a fine. So after paying the fine for myself, when I wanted to collect a visa for my child so that we can leave the country, I went there. They told me I have to pay a fine because of lack of registration. So I went to pay the fine. After paying the fine, a family member in church reached out that I've reached out to since July to help me with registration, and they were just postponing me, and they have work. They reach out again, and that was how they helped me with the registration. So I was able to do my registration in November 27, but I was supposed to go back December 2nd to collect my permanent residence that they put registration on, which is the evidence of my visa in this country. I went there, they told me it's not ready, and that one became another prayer point, because I was like, even when I was in school, they would just take our passport, and within the 5 minutes, they will stamp it in front of us and then allow us to go. So why is it taking 1 week? It did not show up. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, till December, nothing. I could not get my PR, and my temporary residence has expired. So back to my story, we could not get any help, so I began praying. So that day when I went to check, okay, if my PR, if they have actually stamped the registration on my PR, if it is my visa, if it is ready, and they told me it's not ready. Then I saw this beggar on the street. In my head, and before that time, that my family friend that I told you about, Angelina, she has messaged me, because I told you she was the one that helped us to get the woman. To get through the woman that is the coordinator for the shelter home, who later took us to the apartment where we are staying. So, and that woman kept on messaging us every week that, Vicky, hope you do not forget that you're supposed to leave this apartment by December 25. You have till December 25 for you to leave. I said, I know. And she kept on messaging and messaging. So imagine just being reminded of the fact that the date you are supposed to be evicted from your house. Yeah, it was that bad. So, and then Angelina, had to reach out to me and was like, what's now the solution? You've not gotten a flight ticket. This woman said you have till December 25 to leave the apartment. What are you going to do? And your flight ticket is too expensive. Myself and my family cannot help you. That I'm thinking we should do something. And then she suggested that I talked to my buddy. My buddy was the person that came to pick me from the airport when I came to school. Is the African president. That I talked to him and tell him my situation, that he should help me solicit for money on the African group chat. That she will solicit for money from our friends too, so we can put it together to pay our flight ticket. But then I said no. I said no because the Lord told me I will not beg. How do I know? When I was working that day, and I saw that beggar, everything in me began to think of begging. Okay, since I've reached out to people online, nobody was ready to help, or nobody responded to my email, and those that responded said they cannot help a foreigner. Everything in my head was now saying, Kenny, maybe you should put a card in front of you that please help us get home. That I should write a placard in front of me, please help us get home, like with my child. Please just help us get home, because I can see that we are stranded already. Please just help us to get home. Help us to get back home. So every time I'm going, I think of how to beg, like, okay, help us to get home. So it was getting to me. It was getting to my head. And then while I was praying and crying one day, the Holy Spirit spoke to me. He said, using the verse of the scripture, he said, ever since I've been young, and now that I am old, I've never seen the righteous forsaken nor his seed beg for bread. And that was it. That was it. That was the word I needed. And I'm like, I told her, we are not going to beg. We are not going to, but I know we are going on board. I don't know how we are going to go home. But I know we are not going to beg. Because I am a seed. I cannot beg. And that was it for me. So anytime I'm going out, and that begging words come to my mind. I say it loud ever since I've been young, and now that I'm old, I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed beg for bread. I will not beg. I began repeating the scriptures, and that was it. That was it. And suddenly, God blessed my father. I wanted that, Daddy, we have to this day. And then he was like, okay, that the woman just reminded me that we have to 25th. Next week is 25th of December. How are we going to do it? And then he said, don't worry, I'll send you the flight ticket. And that was how my dad was able to send the flight ticket. I bought the flight ticket. I was so happy. I was so joyous because I was like, God, I cannot even afford to borrow this money from a loan app or something. You know why? I don't have a job. So if I borrowed and get in Nigeria, what will I use in paying the money back? So it's just like, even though I'm back to the country, I'll still be a burden on them because I've still been looking up to my people to pay the loan back. So it doesn't make sense for me to borrow. And then the Lord told me I will not borrow. I will not beg. And that was it. I don't know anyone going through any difficult challenge that you feel like God has forgotten you, or that you feel like God is silent. He said till his old age he will carry you. Till your old age he will carry you. I just want you to know God has not forgotten you, and he will carry you. He sees you. And then one day, I told you earlier on that at the point I stopped going to church. I was only attending Papa's church. That's Streams of Joy, NSPPD, Papa Jerry Eze. I was only attending his church online. And then one day, I always attend NSPPD. And then I believed to God that sometimes I would be like, Pastor Jerry, see me, like the Lord show you my situation to you. But then that day in church, it was on a Sunday like this. And then Papa said, he sees you from afar. And that was it for me. He said, just like the prodigal son, that it was the father of the prodigal son that saw him from afar. I said, that is my son. Go and kill the fattest ram and bring the rope to welcome him. And that was it for me. I heard it like, I can see you from afar. And that night, I think the night after I dreamt and I saw him walk beside me. And then in that dream, I saw that they were building a house. And it was already 80% done. I was sitting down all through when they were building the house. And then it was already 80% done. And then I now stood up. I said I wanted to join them in building the house. And I was like, let me carry cement on my head. And then a man walked to me and told me, he said, I've been the one. Allow me, I will finish the work. And that was it. And before I knew it, when they asked me again that, do you know it is almost 20, next week is 25th of December, and you need to leave the apartment. Where will you leave to? Will you go to rent another apartment or outside, or you go to your country? I said, I don't know, because sincerely, I really don't have an answer to it. But then when I called, the money came. My dad sent the money, and I was able to pay for a flight ticket. And the woman said the way she can extend my stay is to see that my flight ticket has actually been booked. I paid for a flight ticket, and then I sent her the ticket, and that was how we were able to stay, because flight ticket for December 25 was already expensive, so we could only get till 13th of January. So it was very expensive. So I had to pay. I had to buy ticket for 14th of January, but we have to leave on the 13th of January, and I sent the ticket to her, and that was how we were able to stay till 13th of January. To the visa office to get my child's visa, so we could go. Only for me to get there, and then they told me, I I need to pay fine for our own fine of lack of registration too. And she was born there, but the only registration they did for her, that's when I was in school, was till when she was 1 year old. So since after 1 year, the school did not do any registration again for her. And when I went to the children right to her, they said as long as she's in the country, she doesn't have a problem since she was born there. So that was it. Only for me to get to the visa office, and then they told me that I need to pay fine for her. And I told you I bought the flight ticket list, and the old workers, officials were already closing for the year. So I had to rush to the police station for the man that helped me with my registration, the family, and also they have to follow me. The landlord needs to follow me for me to be able to get a protocol to pay for our own fine. And they said the fine has to be paid in the name of the landlord because she's a minor. So the man made himself available. They signed only for me to get to the place. It was already on the 29th of December for me to get to the place where I'm going to pay. And they told me they've closed for the year. That when they will resume January 12th, when our flight is for 13th. I was like, how will you even give me? I need this thing, because if I don't pay this fine, they will not give my child visa, and our flight is for 13th. And mind you, my permanent residence, which also I submitted for, which is the evidence of my visa, I submitted for stamp for the registration since November 27, has not been given to me until already December 29. And I went there again, they told me it's not ready. So that they have closed for the year till January 12th. So now, my buddy, that's the African president, told me, Kenny, please go and extend your flight ticket, because there's no how these people will resume on January 12th, and you will be able to get the visa, and you'll be able to meet up with the flight. So majority of my friends, everyone told me I should extend it, but the thing is, they don't understand that. When I checked, okay, how much will it take to extend the flight? It was over $200 again, which I don't have, because I told you how the money came in. I don't have it. So it's either I only have one option, and that option is to meet up with that flight ticket and not miss it. So I believed God. That was what I did. But I've not been able to pay the fine for Ella's visa. And without the fine, they will not give Ella visa. And without the visa, we cannot meet up with the flight ticket. And if we can't meet up with the flight ticket, and if we lose that flight ticket, there's no house we are going to stay back in. So we just have to meet up with that flight ticket. And what is the glow in my 2026?